Welcome to this long enough waited video. This is my most requested video, is Alex, can you please do a build breakdown? Now, I'm not your average person. My original idea was I wanted girls twerking in the background. I wanted all types of dumb shit going on, but you know what? Due to policies and the softness going on right now, I'm gonna be high class today. I've got a sport vest on, coat thing. I've got, you know, I look good, all right? Hide your wives and your grandmas, mainly your grandmas. I got a fetish for that. I want to first start by putting some rumors to rest, okay? The first rumor, the car was never totaled. That never happened, ever. The car was actually a great car. I bought it stock back in like 2013. Bought the car, and it just kind of evolved from there. The second thing, the car is always for sale, yet it is never for sale. All the time, okay? So when you come to me and say, wasn't this car for sale? Yes and no. Both ways. Take that for how it is. Now the third thing, I want to make sure I'm very clear on this one. Very clear. When it comes to my penis size, it is astronomically small. I'm tired of getting on the internet and saying, Alex, you got some huge balls. That is untrue. False. I don't stand for it. Jeremy, where's my water? Jesus Christ, Jeremy. Where the fuck are the oranges? This is disgusting. Forget my oranges, Jeremy. Now let's start with why. Now, a lot of people want to know, Alex, why did you do this? Why was this even a thing? So, really, like Ricky Bobby said, I just want to go fast. Well, your boy said, I just want to soar like a fucking eagle. So, I decided why not use the Genesis. I basically, Jeremy, just find the oranges. It's not that hard. Jesus. Man, God, I need better help around here. So, you're not gonna fucking peel them? How you want me? What? You want me on camera right here, just peeling an orange? Is this what you want, Jeremy? Or am I supposed to put it back in the jar? God. So, I just want to say that the reason why I did it was there was really no reason. I just really wanted to be able to say I jumped a fucking car. I just wanted to get in a car and I wanted to be airborne. That's really all it was. There wasn't anything crazy about it. There wasn't anything. And I didn't copy nobody else's build. I've had this car done for years. So this wasn't me like, oh, I saw a YouTuber make a car and it like flew. Like, no, that was not me, all right? I don't even watch YouTube, and I don't watch YouTube because I don't want to copy anybody else. I legitimately love the way my Genesis Coupe looked, and I wanted to make it go through the air. That's really all I wanted to do. Now, let's jump into how it got done. I was actually moving to Europe for about a year to go work. So at that time, I thought it was a perfect time because I owned the car outright. I hit my boy up, Sean, at Miller Off-Road, and I said, hey man, I want to do this crazy project. I want to basically make this Genesis Coupe have long travel suspension. He was the only person dumb enough to say yes. And I went to the bank, took out a shit ton of money, and I gave it to him, and then I left, and I took a plane ride to Europe. When that happened, Sean had the car for about a year, and for the most part, I don't know how to weld, so he was the one that actually built the cage, he built the suspension housing, and he basically did all the suspension setup inside the car. So we had it for about a year, and then when I moved back to the States, I went and picked it up. Actually, the first day I went to pick it up, the car, we were out in the parking lot doing donuts in it, and we blew that motor. So that turned into a whole nother fiasco, which ended up causing us to then blow a second motor. And then, of course, as of now, you all know it has an LS2 inside of it. And that came about through another situation. So what's in the car, Alex? Well, you know what? I'm so glad you asked. And thankfully, I had the brochure right here. I'm just joking. I'm not going to do that. But to start with the car, obviously it's a 2010 Hyundai Genesis Coupe. That's what it started its life out. That's what it was when I bought it stock. Can't talk today. It's a fully caged with a tubular cage, basically meaning that the cage starts at the front of the car and it goes all the way to the rear and connects to the 4-link. It is one solid piece. I don't even really need the body. It has King 2.5 coilovers with custom valving. That was done by Sean. Sean did my valving. It has custom spindles, custom A-arms, custom lower control arms, custom lateral arms. All that suspension was custom made by Sean at Miller Off-Roads. It has some Method Racing wheels on it. Those are 17-inch by 8.5. I have some Cooper AT3 wheels on it, which are 245 65 17s. I have the triple bypass radiator. I've got the AutoZone power steering cooler. I've got the AutoZone oil cooler. I've got some other little coolant overflow I got off Amazon. A lot of this stuff, you just kind of piece, and I go to O'Reilly's and Amazon and AutoZone a lot to kind of get some of this stuff to kind of make this Frankenstein of a car. I used to have a wet sound speaker on the front of the car, but now it's only in the actual inside of the car. Wet Sounds gave me those for Go Topless. That video doesn't exist anymore for legal purposes. I've got a sheet metal firewall. I have some of my firewall, but not all the firewall. I've got a homemade relay board, homemade control panel, all that stuff I built. I'm really good with the electronic part of it and wiring. I've got my Racepak IQ3S Dash, which is, no, Jeremy, no, I have water. Okay, my God. I've got, so as far as the actual, ECU goes, I don't use any Holley or anything like that. What I use is actually the stock ECU out of the GTO. And that's actually how we got the LS2. The LS2 came out of a wrecked GTO that some guy on Instagram hit me up, was like, hey man, I wrecked my GTO, do you want to buy it back from the insurance? And I was like, yeah, does the motor work? He's like, yeah. Trans work? Yeah. Got a killer deal on it. So I bought the wrecked GTO, it still start, basically ripped the motor and the trans out, got all the stuff I needed. I've got ISR mounts for the engine. I've got the ISR trans mount. And then I think with that whole kit, it also came with another oil pan. It has a front sump oil pan now that basically has its own little kind of setup. But all that came in a kit, when you do the LS swap kits with Genesis Coupe. So all that was bought. Basically got the GTO, for a steal. And we were able to basically put that LS2, which is stock. I want to be very clear on that. My LS2 is stock. Besides a little intake that actually probably hurts the performance of the car, it is stock. And the reason why it's stock is because I wanted the car to actually work. I wanted to be able to roast tires, jump things, drift, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to have to mess with it. I don't want cams. I don't want none of that stuff. At some point, when I have the money, I might put a bunch of twin turbos on this thing and blow that motor. But at this point, I like it running. I want it to run. Basically, I've got the Corbeau seats, I've got the harnesses, I've got, fire extinguishers. I even have cup holders, believe it or not. I still have cup holders that function. And I got the big one too. You put those big Gatorades in there. It's real, real nice, So I have a very nice one-piece aluminum drive shaft. Now I've been through like 4 of those things. They're stupid expensive. I hate it. The rear end is a custom 4-link setup that was built by Sean Miller. And then I also have a, what do you call those things? The differential, I can't say that word, but I have the diff is out of it's a solid axle 488 with 410 LSD little differential. Holds up very well. Never had any issues whatsoever. Yes, Jeremy, can I help you? God, he just stares at me when I do these things. He has one job. So I've got a 15-gallon custom fuel tank. And then I've got the T56 trans in there, and it has a 7-inch extension on the shifter. It's basically a shifter relocation from Siki. It's a pretty nice setup. Then again, I have, my stock Hyundai steering wheel. I will never replace that. It just keeps me it keeps me humbled, really. That's really what it does. It keeps me humble. And obviously I have no fenders. Am I gonna put fenders on the car? I don't know. Depends on if y'all watch these fucking ads or not, so I can start making some money and get some real fenders. I just wanna say this, okay? I want to be very clear. Probably the biggest question that I get about this Genesis, everybody with a Genesis that's asked me this question, or even people without a Genesis that have asked me this question, they say, how much? How much money did this cost you? What do I need to do to make my car do that? Basically, my first question is, are you ready to mortgage your home a second time? Because if you're not ready to do that, it's not for you. A typical trophy truck is gonna run about $500,000, and that's for a basic truck. Now, again, I took a very budget route doing this, and it's functional, and I cut a lot of corners doing it, but for the most part, the car itself functions well, and it runs and drives, and it hoons amazingly. Now, I probably have close to $60,000 into this car. Between all the fabrication, between the motor, the trans, just rebuilding things, breaking stuff, rebuilding them. I mean, this car has been through so many transformations, just buying the car itself. I mean, Genesis Coupes now are cheap. And honestly, like mine came with like factory Brembros and LSD, all types of stuff. The Genesis, great platform. For the most part though, I want to be very clear though, that if you have to ask how much it costs, don't do it, because it is just a money pit. I love my money pit because I enjoy driving it. Every time I get in this car, I love it. Now when it breaks, I hate the fucking thing. But any other time I can drive it, I fucking love it. The car is amazing. It drives well. It jumps incredibly. It does everything that I want it to. It hoons like nobody else's business. I fucking love this car. I love it. I will never sell it, but it is for sale. So just understand, if you have to ask how much, it's not for you, fam. This lifestyle is not for you. Just stick to your lowering springs and your fucking wheels, because that's about where you're gonna be. If you're not ready to dump $10,000 to $20,000 at a time into it, it's just not for you. But you wanted to know, and that's the answer. So I'm glad that you asked me this question. I'm glad I was able to send this link to you in my DM, so that way when you say this, I'm just gonna start sending this link. So for the most part, that is the Genesis Coupe, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't done with that fucking glass of water, Jeremy. I love you though. You're such a good butler. Now what? What do I do? Jeremy, don't tell him to cut. You don't work for him.